As you already know, my husband and I got together because our exes cheated on us with each other. Let's talk about how we got there. Back in 2019, I dated this guy named Henry. Henry and I, to make a very long story short, were very toxic for each other. There were cheating, arguments, jealousy, a lot of jealousy. Typical college relationship. Now fast forward, and we are actually trying to make this relationship work. Right about at the same time that he gets a job at this like small shop in our college town. Only a few people working there. Those people, her name's Michelle. He's hanging out with Michelle at work. He's talking about her more at home. Comes home with her name tag on. Like, I'm gonna stay late and help Michelle with homework. All of these weird signs that maybe Michelle and Henry are kind of hitting it off. I'm trying to stay as cool as possible. I'm really trying to make this work with Henry. The holidays roll around and things are kind of intensifying. I decide I'm gonna go home for the holidays, different state, give us some space. While I'm at home, first day that I'm at home, find out via his roommate and via tracking that he sleeps over at Michelle's house. Goodbye. We break up over the phone. January, February rolls around and I'm getting messages from some friends out in Colorado wondering where I've been. One of my friends in a fraternity that is also the same fraternity as Henry is messaging me saying they have a Valentine's Day party coming up and seeing if I wanted to go with him as a friend. You know, let's go. I want to know if Henry's going to bring Michelle to this party. I fly back to go to this fraternity house on Valentine's Day. We're all in outfits. It's a little date dash. Henry does not bring Michelle. We don't even really talk that whole night, and honestly it ends up being the least important part of the story. He ends up not bringing Michelle, just bringing another girl, but goes straight to Michelle's house afterwards, of course. While I'm at this party, I end up seeing this guy who's off in the corner, not in costume and not really participating with everybody, and so I decided to go give him a hard time, I guess. I'm over there being like, where's your date? Your outfit? Like, it's Valentine's Day. Where's the love? It's like, well, my girlfriend and I actually just broke up. That's so awkward. I'm so sorry. Telling him like, why'd you break up? Do you want to talk about it? We broke up because she was cheating on me. I know all about that. I got cheated on too. Like, well, do you know anybody else in this fraternity? Like, what brings you to this party? That date who I'm with, even though we're just friends. And then I actually also dated Henry. Say the word Henry and date in the same sentence. This man's jaw hits the floor. Looking at me kind of like, I'm like, you're gonna catch flies. Is everything okay? You're telling me that you dated Henry and you broke up because he was cheating on you? I said, yeah. And he said, was he by any chance cheating on you with Michelle? Yeah, why? He's like, Michelle is my ex and we just broke up because she was cheating on me. This world colliding colossal moment happens where we just click on every single level. Crap, we just ran into the person that our exes cheated on us with each other our exes cheated on each other with us. You get what I'm saying? Immediately book it to the car. We get in his car and we go on the longest drive of our lives. We become best friends. Hanging out for the next few weeks, truly as friends. And Henry and Michelle find out and decide that we are the absolute worst people on planet Earth. Think that we are just doing this to get back at them. We're not. We truly are just hitting it off and becoming good friends. It is also really funny. They're just verbally attacking us and also at the same time kind of trying to get back together with us, which I don't fully comprehend, but whatever. Pretty much end up just saying like F you to them. We start dating. Michelle tried to get back with Henry on like a really intense level, was trying to get us to break up. It was very insane. I'll make a whole story about it if you actually want to hear about it. Wedding rolls around because we got engaged and 100% sent invitations to both Henry and Michelle. I will give a speech. I will give a toast to Henry and Michelle for introducing us pretty much. Neither of them showed up, but I wouldn't either. So that's fair. How me and my husband met.
Let's talk about why I had to call off my engagement with my fiance of almost 5 years. For starters, cheater, pumpkin eater. If you can pick up on what I'm putting down. All this started back in September. And I'm so sorry, but I'm like horrible at sit-down videos or like talking videos, period, if you know what I'm saying. But so everything was good. Like, it's so crazy because we were having no problems whatsoever. And he actually was the best man in his best friend's wedding. And you'll see why later in this story I do air quotations. But his best friend, let's call him George, and then he was marrying Shayla. George and Shayla. Okay. I personally didn't like George just from some stuff from high school and just the kind of person he is. Now, him and my fiance actually stopped being friends for a while because of some stuff that he did and that my fiance didn't agree with. Shayla had a problem with me from the get-go, and I don't know why when I did nothing to Shayla. So, that's neither here nor there. We would go to dinner with them, and I would sit here and try to have a conversation with Shayla, and I'm a pretty easy person to talk to. I can be a little shy sometimes, but I mean, if I'm trying to have a conversation with you, at least speak back. It was like I was talking to a brick wall, but she turned around and have a full-blown conversation with my fiance. Okay, cool. Okay, so she'd sit there and have a full-blown conversation. That's fine, whatever. Well, fast forward. It's the wedding day, okay? And, you know, my fiance's there, and mind you, my ex-fiance was very shy. Like, he wouldn't order his own food. He wouldn't make his own appointments. When we booked our wedding venue, I literally asked him to take the check to the venue manager. Mind you, he had met her. He literally had a full-blown crash out on the phone with me just to do that. So he's a very shy person. Let's just put that out there. Well, it's the day of the wedding. I'm a guest. I ended up not feeling good at the wedding. So, like, I had got on the dance floor a few times, right? And then it was probably, I'd say, like 10:30. And I told my fiance, like, I'm going to go sit in the car. You take your time. Don't feel rushed. You do you. Because he was drinking and I was driving us home. But I don't feel good. So I told Shayla and George, like, congrats. We're so happy for you. And I went and sat in the car. I was sitting in my car, and where I was sitting, this was my car and this was the venue. So I could see everything. Literally everything. Well, the maid of honor, I kept seeing her get, like, close, all near him, and, like, you could just tell she was flirting with him, if that makes sense. So I was very bothered by it, but again, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, get out of this car and act crazy like I wanted to at someone's wedding, but I was like, I will mention it to him when he gets in the car. That's literally ended up calling my cousin, which me and her are, like, best friends, right? So I call her, and she's like, well, you know, he wouldn't do anything. He's so shy. And I was like, yeah, that's what I think. Well, there are a few times, like, everybody kind of went off where I couldn't see them. Okay, cool, whatever. My ex-fiance now gets in my car, and it was probably like 12 a.m. We had a 30-minute drive home. And the whole ride, like, I was upset, and, like, I was voicing that to him, and he's like, no, like, I understand, and, you know, all that stuff. Well, like, the next day, he was acting a little weird. So, actually, this is the day before my birthday. So, their wedding was the 20th, the 21st, and then my birthday, September 22nd. So, the next day, he had said something to me about us, like, me and him hanging out with Jordan and Shayla. And I'm like, that's fine. If my schedule allows, I'm also a photographer, so I'm busy. And I'm not going to, like, shift anything around to hang out with them. But also, I voiced to him, like, it's one thing to hang out with people that actually conversate back to you or act like they don't have a problem with you. But I'm not going to sit at a table with people that make me feel unwelcome. And that's what that is. So, anyway, you know, that day, we kind of argued a little bit, and I remember at dinner that night, I said something about the girl flirting with him, the maid of honor flirting with him at the wedding, and he made it a very big point. He said, who am I here with right now? I was like, me. He said, okay. Like, okay, so I let it go. Like, I was done. I let it go, like, completely out my mind. Okay, so fast forward to the next day, September 22nd. That's my birthday. He decorates it for my birthday. Like, him and my cousin, like, she got a banner done, and he decorated and put all my presents out. Like, it was very thoughtful. And I will never, ever forget what one of the birthday cards he got me read. And it was this whole card, and I was turning 21, and we were supposed to get married in April of this year, so April 2026. He said, this is the age that we will get married. Okay, cool. Well, that whole week he acts funny. Fast forward to that Friday, we go to my birthday dinner at Texas Roadhouse with his parents and his family. Then we always go back and do cake at their house. He was acting very weird. He was acting weird all week, but especially at dinner, he wasn't himself. And I thought maybe he just didn't feel good. Well, when we got home, like, we were getting ready for bed, and usually when I go to bed, he goes to bed. Like, we don't have to go to sleep, but, like, if I'm going to go lay in the bed, if we were in the living room, I go lay in the bed, he's coming right behind me. That's just what we did. Like, it was just who we were. Like, neither of us, I mean, he may stay up later in the bed, but, he said, I'm going to stay up and play the game. He don't play the game. Like, he will sometimes, and I was just like, it was kind of late, and I was just looking at him. I said, okay. And then I walked back there, and he ended up following me. Well, that night, he stayed up later than me, like, in the bed. But the next day, that Saturday, I actually had a session to go to. Like I said, I'm a photographer. So I was driving to the session, and I had his email on my phone. And I only had his email on my phone because we had a house together, and when we were doing all the documents, the job that he had at the time, he couldn't always get on his phone and sign away, and some of it was like urgent stuff that had to be signed. So he knew his email was on my phone. Like, it just was. I mean, heck, I made his appointments for him. Like, I did all these things for him, so it really wasn't an issue. Well, TikTok sometimes will send you an email to your email if somebody sent you a message and you hadn't seen it or viewed it, I assume. Don't worry. It said, let's just call her maid of honor. It said, the maid of honor sent you a message. And I was like, I had to pull over, and I logged into his TikTok because all his account logins are the exact same. I log in. They had been sending, like, mushy, like, relationship TikToks to each other. And I was sitting there like, I didn't even cry because I was so upset. I was just mad, and I really didn't even feel like this was real life. Mind you, I'm on the way to a session. He's in Columbia at a game. I think it was a Carolina game, maybe, with George and Shayla, and then, let's just say, Brittany and John. And I called him, and he wouldn't answer. And I think he knew what was up, because I kept calling him. Like, I don't call if it's not emergent, because I can text whatever it is. So, go to the next part, though. Okay, so I think we ended where I was calling him. So I was on the side of the road calling this man, and he's declining my call. Decline. Okay, that's cool and all. So at that point, I was like on a 10. He's around his friends. Well, finally, like, I'm blowing him up. I'm like, call me back, like, because I'm not about to text all this, but I'm sure enough gonna just bring it to your attention, like, over a phone call rather than texting it. And I was gonna wait till that night, but I could not. I'm a very impatient person, so, well, finally he calls me back. Hey, you good? No, baby, I'm not good because you've been sending these TikToks to the maid of honor. Like, what? So I say something to him. I'm like, I'm trying not to be on a 10. And I'm like, you know, your email's on my phone. And, you know, I see the TikTok. I logged into your TikToks. And why have you been sending TikToks back and forth to the maid of honor? I would say her name. He's like, well, I meant to send them to you. Okay, just because both of our names start with a K? No. And I was sitting there and I was like, okay, first off, you didn't have her on social media because you didn't know her before the wedding, but now you do have her on social media, so lie again. Let's try a new lie. Something that makes a little bit more sense. So, I can't even remember. That day is such a blur. Like, I can't even remember what was really said after that. Just, I told him that we would talk about this when he got home. Well, I went to the session. I have never in my life worked so fast during a session. I was literally like, I was like, my heart was in my stomach, but I didn't feel upset where I would cry. I just felt sick. I just felt so sick. It's a feeling I never want to feel again. So I finished the session. I go home. You know, I stay up for a long time waiting on this man to get home, because let me tell you guys, we had a house together. We had 2 dogs together. We had a vehicle together. We were practically married, even though we were not married. So he gets home. He comes bebopping in, slow as a grandma, probably about 3 a.m. I was watching him on Life 360 the entire time. And when he finally got to whose house he had parked at, like, he just took as long as he could to come back home. He gets home and we talk about it. Okay, mind you, I'm sitting here like crying, and like he just is like looking at me like, there's nothing. I mean, he teared up like a little, but there is just no emotion. And I was just sitting there like, okay. Well, we talked about it, and like I told him, like, you know, like, I know there are things in our relationship I do wrong. I am not perfect by any means whatsoever, but this, I'm sorry, I don't deserve this. And I promise you, like, I'm the kind of person, like, we were together for so long and we went through so much together and kind of grew up together in a sense where it was like we mess with each other, but it was one of our love languages. Like, I wasn't a very touchy-feely person. He was, but, like, we would literally, like, just joke around with each other. I don't know, like, maybe rage bait. I don't know. Well, that's just who we were. And, you know, he kind of communicated to me like he felt like some things that I was lacking on, and that's fine. Like, I can sit here right now and tell you everything that I did on my part, but no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter how he ever made me feel, I never thought about stepping out on him. So to do that is disgusting. Well, I told him, I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. If you want us to work, no, if this happens again, we are, like, there's no more. Like, I'm willing to work on this with you right now, but if you do it again, I will not, and I will be leaving. Okay, so we're very clear on that. So I said, do you want to message her and tell her you're taking her off of social media, or are you just going to do it? I'm just going to do it. Okay, so I sat there and I watched him do it. He took her off. Okay, great. Block, deleted. Okay, bye-bye. And I said, and you can take Ayla off of social media too, because let me tell you something. Shayla and the maid of honor, best friends. So you can't convince me that she didn't know what was going on. So I said, first off, it's weird to have your best friend's wife on in Snapchat and you two snap each other. I'm sorry, that's weird. I don't care. That's weird. I don't usually care, like, about girls snapping boys or, like, stuff like that, but that's just weird. Especially after this whole situation. No. Bye-bye, Shayla. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, next day we go to church, because that was a Saturday. Sunday, we go to church. Hadn't been to church in a few weeks. The sermon was literally about essentially how you treat your wife and how you treat your partner. And I will say, God did grab him by the neck in church, because he was in there boohoo crying, and he swore to me he'd never do it again, and this, that, the third. That same day, we had family pictures scheduled. Well, I didn't really want to take them anymore, but his mom and dad were like, no, let's take them, it's fine, because they knew that their son was a cheater, pumpkin eater, because I told them. Do I care? No. And I mean, they were very upset because that's not him, or it wasn't him. Well, we still take the family photos. Cool. Great. After the family photos, we go home, and I actually had my little sister with me, and, you know, she's getting ready for bed and stuff, and he's sitting on the rocking chairs outside saying that he just needs a minute by himself. I said, okay, that's fine. Well, I end up going back out there, and I'm trying to get him to talk to me, and he's like, What if I can never get her out my mind? What if this isn't a little fling? You're infatuated with her because you just met her and she was giving you the attention that I was not giving you, because I'm sorry, but I work 2 jobs. Like I said, I knew what I needed to work on and I was willing to work on that, and I voiced that to him. But it wasn't just me that had to work on stuff, it was him as well. So I was like, in that moment, deep down, I knew it wasn't going to work with him, and I had a feeling it would happen again, but I tried to just push it down and pretend like it's going to be fine. Well, I was like, we need to do premarital counseling, which we needed to do it anyway. We certainly should do it now. And I made him promise me, like, we were going to be okay. We would work through this on both ends, and that I would walk down the aisle to him in April. You know, he's pinky promising, he's swearing, all these things. Men ain't crap. Well, that week, he came to my work and ate lunch with me on my lunch break, and I was driving 30 minutes from our house every day to eat dinner with him and bring him dinner. Okay, cool. So I'm doing that, right? And I'm thinking it's going good. So, mind you, when I found out he cheated on me, I did not eat for 2 weeks. Which, it's just my nervous system was like, screwed. Well, one of the days in particularly, I was like, you know, the whole time me and him are conversating, I feel like he's not really sorry. Like, he's not meaning what he's saying. Like, I'm sitting here trying to pull this out of him, and it's like he just doesn't care to share. And I'm like, okay, that's one time, like, if this is going to work, you have to communicate with me, and you have to be open, and you have to be honest. And that's how our relationship has always been. So why you feel like you shouldn't do that now, I don't know. That day in particularly, I remember my cousin was staying with us. She was actually going to move in with us at the end of October. I told her, I came home, I said, I am pretty sure everything is going to be just fine between us. I ate a whole sub sandwich, a 6-inch. Well, little did I know, I got ready for bed. You know, I'm texting him like, good night, like, have a good night at work. I'll see you when you get home, because he worked second shift. He worked second shift and got off at 2 a.m. He was always home by 2:30, if not sooner, and in bed at 2:30. Okay? It was not very often that he worked late. Well, I'm getting in bed. I had an iPad, he had an iPad. Something in my soul told me to get on his iPad and go through his notes, like the notes on your phone. So, because it's synced up. So I get on there, I go, okay, this is, mind you, a week after the wedding he was in. It said, because your notes tells you when something was edited, it said, last edited today. His best man speech. And I was like, why was his best man speech edited today when we're a week out? Like, we're a week after the wedding. Now, I mean, sometimes I add stuff to my notes, and I was like, maybe that's what it was. So I'm scrolling. All the way at the bottom is a username and password for Instagram. Oh, don't worry. Guess whose it was? Guess. If you guess Shayla, you're right. Yeah, it was his best friend's wife's Instagram login. Okay, so I'm like, man, okay then. Cool. So, I mean, I take it upon myself. It's on his stuff. So I log in to her Instagram. And I get into and this does sound crazy. I know. I get into the messages, or the message part on Instagram, and I see where he had been on there messaging the maid of honor on her Instagram. And I was scrolling, trying to go like read the top, and all I remember seeing is like an address from her, red hearts, like this, that, the third. Well, then they realized I got in the Instagram and they logged me out and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine. Like, I don't need to know exactly what it says. What I seen said enough. Like, you're not just, I'm sorry, but I'm not logging into my best friend's Instagram to take some man red hearts that I'm not going to have anything to do with at the end of the day. That's just not how that works. Well, I texted Shayla and I told her, I said, I already knew the answer. And I was like, hey, like, is messaging the maid of honor? Like, and she said, woman to woman, I know the answer. Did you log into my Instagram? I said, woman to woman, yeah, I did. Well, I didn't give you permission to. Then you shouldn't have gave him your Instagram username and login and let him write it down knowing somebody could get into it. I'm sorry, that's on your part. She said some stuff, I said some stuff, she blocked me. I'm like, okay, because you nasty. You nasty. Well, I said something to my fiance. Like, at this point, I'm messaging my fiance, like, message. And he said, she just wanted to know why she got blocked. I'm sorry? She wanted to know why an almost married man blocked her, whom she added on Snapchat with the intention of doing what she's doing right now. I'm sorry, but you cannot convince me. She seen me at the wedding. She seen me and him together. I'm sorry, did you think I was his sister? The sister he kissed? The sister he rubbed up on? Girl, bye. Okay, so I'm like, okay, that's a lie. Like, why lie? At this point, you're just digging yourself deeper. Like, and now looking back on it, I know he was doing all that to try to get me to leave. But at that moment, I felt like if I left, I was losing everything because we had so much together. And all I could think about was the negative. Well, I remember my cousin was there. She was dead asleep. I woke her up out her sleep and I told her, I don't know what we have to do, but I cannot stay here no more. Like, there is no way. Like, me and him, this ain't gonna work. And she was like, she woke up and she just couldn't believe it. So I made her promise me, like, like I said, I was pretty sure it was done. I was still willing to kind of work on it with him, but I, for the most part, was done. And me and her just said, like, we'll get a place together. It's fine. She said, don't even worry about that. Like, I got you. You got me. We good. Well, I texted him and, he told me, he said, I just want to be happy. Because he told me that he hadn't been happy. And when I proceeded to ask him how long he hadn't been happy for, a few weeks. Oh, so you hadn't been happy for a few weeks, so you just go decide you want to whatever with whoever. I was like, okay, cool. So there was a time that I didn't like you at all. I didn't find you attractive. Like, really, you being around me, I couldn't stand. But I knew I wanted to be with you, and I prayed to God every single night to bring the spark back. Like, allow me to love him the way he needs to be loved. And I did. And I not ever once thought about texting another man. Never. So, okay. Well, he ends up coming home late he comes home that night, and I'm like, he gets in, he sits at the kitchen table. It's like 4 a.m. And I had texted my office manager at 12, because I already knew it was going to be a long night. And I told her, I can't come in, just due to personal reasons. Well, he gets in there, and he's sitting in the chair. I'm sitting on the floor, like I am right now, begging this man to want me and to love me. And he really ain't have much to say, just that he wants to be happy, and he don't have an answer for me right now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we've been together 4.5 years, almost 5 years, and this just ain't making much sense to me. Like, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, all these things. Like, of course I'm sitting here blaming myself. Well, he's like, I'm just going to have to talk to my counselor tomorrow. And I guess he thought he was being funny, and this wasn't a hee hee ha ha situation. And I was like, who? He said, my mom. I said, baby, Your mommy, she can't fix everything for you, because when I say he is a titty baby, he is a titty baby. But she can't. She can't tell you what to do and how you feel. And I gave him multiple opportunities. I said, do I need to walk away right now? Because I will walk away. No, I don't know what I want. No. I said, do you want to walk away? Like, no. Okay. So then he said that he was going to sleep on the couch, and I slept in the bed. I didn't sleep. That was a Wednesday because I went to work. I had to be at work at 7, so I woke up at 6. So I was up from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. actually the next day. He goes and talks to his mom, okay, and then he comes home and he sits me down for a conversation.
How I found out that I got cheated on Valentine's Day. This was a very long time ago, so I am definitely over it, but I think it's a funny story to tell. This happened with my ex. We were together for 4 years. He lived in San Jose. I lived in Stockton. We did meet in San Jose. I'm from San Jose, but I moved out here, and then we're doing like long distance. He planned this whole dinner. He took me to sushi. He got me a nice gift, paid for everything. And I tell you guys, the bar was on the floor. He was treating me so nice to the point that it made me suspicious. Never does all of this. I know, I'm so embarrassed, but I used to pay for mostly everything, so it was definitely like out of the ordinary for me, to the point where like my intuition just went off. Something is wrong. Since I lived in Stockton, I was planning to sleep over that night anyway, so I thought in my head, as soon as this man falls asleep, I am gonna check his phone. He had this problem with this one girl that he would talk to all the time. He actually became best friends with her on Snapchat. I wasn't even his best friend no more, so he would Snapchat her more than he would Snapchat me, and I already had a problem with this, but again, I was the cool girlfriend, and I thought it was okay and normal for guys to have a ton of girlfriends. So the first thing I go do is go check his Snapchat, and he had deleted messages with her, so I didn't really get to see anything. Just started to think, I'm like, this guy posted me today, like posted our dinner date, so I'm gonna check who did he block from watching his story. Look at the block list. This girl was blocked from viewing his story, and I just knew. My stomach dropped to the floor. I had a feeling where I just knew he was cheating on me with this girl, because why else would he not want her to see our stories? I literally wake his ass up in the middle of the night, and I'm all like, just be honest with me. Seeing that you blocked her from watching our stories, did you cheat on me? Like, I just said it like that, and he just stares at me with like a blank face, and you could tell he was like contemplating, and he just admits that he cheated on me. I was just like, what do you mean? Did you just kiss her? Did you just go on a date with her? He was like, no, like, I cheated on you. I was so heartbroken, but I wanted to know everything. Like, I made him tell me everything. When did it happen? How did it happen? What did you guys do? Where did you guys do it at? Like, he did tell me, and then he started breaking down. He was hitting himself. He told me that he wanted to off himself when he did it, that he regretted it so much, and he was begging me not to leave. Such a narcissist. Like, I should have been the one crying. I was really young and dumb. Never again. I did stay with him for a little bit after that, but it wasn't because I wanted to. Honestly, in my young head, I didn't want him to be with that girl. I stayed with him, but I like came up with like my exit plan. Like, I started slowly checking out. I started going to the gym, going out with friends. At some point where I actually started talking to a few other guys. So when that happened, I was like, okay, it's time for me to just exit out of this relationship. I did break up with him. Glad that I left when I left, because as you guys know, like, I've lost over 80 pounds since I broke up with him. I built a platform. I became a coach. I'm currently with this beautiful, tall, blue-eyed, sexy, protective, masculine man who takes care of me and treats me like a freaking queen. You know, we all live and learn. Now I'm a little more wiser. Sometimes you need to get your heart broken by a frog in order to find your Prince Charming. So everything happens for a reason, ladies.
Guys, I've been unintentionally gatekeeping this story, and now it's time. About a month ago, I went on a first date with a man I had met on Hinge. We'd been talking for like almost a month before we went on this first date. On our first date, he told me he had been separated for 2 years and divorced for 2 months, which felt a little quick to me. Yeah. I shared with him that I had been recently love bombed, and that I was like really trying to slow things down on the dating front and take things really slow because I learned my lesson. Right after the first date, next day, he immediately asked me on a second date. I'm like, no, don't want to move too quickly. Ask me on a date for the next day. No, don't want to move too quickly. Tuesday comes around, he's like, do you want to go on a date tomorrow, meaning Wednesday? I was like, look at you planning in advance. Let's do it. I said yes to Wednesday. I had plans that Tuesday night to go over to a friend's house for a going away party. And he texted me and was like, hey, I can't wait until tomorrow to see you. Do you want to just grab quick drinks before your going away party? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So we go out to drinks at this awesome spot in DC. And while we're sitting there, we're having normal conversation. And I'm joking about the fact that he is 36 because I always find myself dating people in the age range 34 to 36. It's just like my sweet spot. And he's like, well, actually, I have to tell you something. I'm actually 39. My age is wrong on my Hinge. And I was like, do you think I'm stupid? If you got divorced 2 months ago and that's when you made your Hinge, you were lying. If you made it back when you were 36, you were cheating on your wife. So what? Also, I'm pretty sure your Hinge updates every year, like as you get older. Like I'm pretty sure it changes by itself. So I was like, what the fuck? That's so weird of you. I literally demanded he show me his physical ID because I thought that was so weird. And I was really creeped out. And honestly, I should have been out then. So I see his ID, he's actually 39, and I say to him, this is so weird of you. There's no good time when you're dating girls on Hinge to tell them that you're not the age you put on your profile. Like you could tell them in that first message, or you could tell them like when on your wedding day, and no matter what, that's fucking weird of you. Like that's never gonna be a normal conversation that girls are just okay with. Like just make it your regular age. Obviously you're trying to show up on Hinge for like young women who you can whatever. Anyway, so we finish drinks, we kiss, it's a good time. He goes home, I go to my friend's going away party, and I pose a question to the group. I'm like, hey, he lied to me about his age. It feels kind of sus. What does everyone think? My best friend, who was right, is like, get out of that situation. That is freaky, girl. But all my other friends at the party were kind of like, oh, you're just collecting data. Like, that's a first data point. Like, yes, that's concerning, but why don't you collect more data and see how you feel about the guy? Because at the time, I really liked him. We had great chemistry. He was super attractive. Like, we just vibed. But also, like, maybe part of that vibe and part of why that was exciting is because I could sense, like, something was off, or, like, we had that chemistry because, like, there was that excitement and spark. But like a lot of the time, like good, healthy relationships start like more of a slow burn, or like with a friendship. Like I should have known that that spark was indicative of like, there's something wrong here. So now it's Wednesday, it's time for our pre-planned date. And the first 2 dates he had come into DC for me. He lives in Maryland. So I said, hey, I'd be happy to come out to Maryland for you. I feel badly that you're always coming to DC. And he was like, well, you don't have a car. And I was like, I have a Metro card. And have you ever heard of that Uber, or do 36-year-olds not know about Uber? He was like, oh, I have a surprise for you. Be ready at 7. Me, having watched every fucking rom-com, was like, this is so cute and romantic. I'm so excited. Dumb, dumb, dumb. So he comes, he picks me up in his car. I'm like, wow, this is like a real date. He's picking me up, he's driving me to the place, and it's all a surprise. I don't even know where we're going. He takes me to this restaurant in DC called Mercy Me. Food was incredible. And I'm like, thank you so much for dinner. Like, was this a surprise? And he's like, no, I have one more surprise. This man proceeds to say, oh, I have to work in Arlington tomorrow, so I decided to spend the night in DC so I don't have to schlep all the way from Maryland to Arlington for work at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spending the night in DC, got a hotel room, but what he didn't do was ask me to stay over with him. Like, he's that good. Like, he didn't ever explicitly ask that. He made me think it was my decision. So dinner ends, we like go to a bar, we grab a couple of drinks. I'm not even drinking. I'm literally like dead sober, and I made these decisions. But we walk out of the restaurant, he's like, do you want me to drive you home, or do you want to come up to my hotel room? And I was like, I could use a hotel room tour. I go, hotel room tour, one thing leads to another. Take that as you will. Probably wasn't my best call. Anyway, I wake up in the morning at my own house. I'm on a high. I'm like, last night was so amazing. He's texting me. I'm like, we're getting married. But then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking really hard about it. And where he lives in Maryland is like 30 minutes from me. And Arlington is like 20 minutes from me. And I don't understand logically why someone would get a hotel in the city to not have to drive an extra 20 minutes in the morning. Something's not adding up. My spidey senses, something was wrong. My gut, women's intuition, something was off. I start thinking, I offered to come to his. He lives in his own house. I, live in a house with 3 roommates. The only reason I wouldn't want someone to come to my house would be if I was still living with my wife. So that activates the crazy in me. And I go to the internet and I pay for a background check, $25. Highly recommend doing that. Honestly, do it before your first dates. I should have done it way, way back. And I find every single thing about this man, right? Like his entire family, every address he's lived in since his college dorm, every traffic citation he's ever gotten, every piece of dirt on this man. And you know what isn't there? Divorce papers. So I start freaking out. I'm like, why are there no divorce papers? Could they be sealed? Like, are divorce papers even public record? I've never been divorced. I call the Maryland County court system and I ask them, hi, do you have any divorce records under his name and his wife's maiden name? They don't have any. I say, can you tell me if there's a sealed record under either of their names? They say, yes, we can tell you if there's a record, but we can't tell you what's in it. I said, awesome. Do you have records under either of these names? No records in the state of Maryland. I contact my family friend who's a lawyer. I say, hey, do you have to get divorced in the state where you're living? And they said, yeah, you have to get divorced in the state where either you or your partner is living. And I had both their names on the lease of their home address from my background check. I knew they both lived in the state of Maryland since 2012. If they had gotten a divorce, it would be in the Maryland court system. So I'm realizing this man is married. So what do? I go on Facebook and I post in the Are We Dating the Same Guy DC Facebook group. I say, hey, this is Danny. And I include a picture of him. I say, he lied about me to his age. Something feels sus. I tell the whole hotel story and ask anyone if they know anything. Within an hour, my post is blown up. Hundreds of women commenting how sus the hotel thing is and that it's happened to them before. He's definitely married and cheating. A couple hours later, a comment comes in. Hi, I'm the wife. Call me. I'm so sorry to do this, but I have to do a part 2. Come to part 2 to find out what the wife says. Hi guys, good morning. I wanted to come on here and say thank you so much for all of the love and support. I really started this page to talk about dating, mental health, and women's issues, and I'm so glad to see us uplifting and supporting one another in the comments. That said, for the sake of transparency, I did want to let you guys know I am going to private part 2 for the time being for my safety and the safety of his wife. I will be re-uploading a part 2 with a little bit less detail, so please be patient with me. In the meantime, I'm going to answer the main questions I got, which were the resources I used to find out this information. The first resource I used was the background check website. I used Truth Finder. It's a $25 per month subscription, but I think you can do unlimited background checks. I know that's a little bit of a steep price, but I'm willing to pay that for my safety moving forward after this experience. The second resource I learned about after posting in the Facebook group, and it would have saved me a lot of time, and that's Maryland Case Search. That's a website online where you can put in a case number or you can put in any names and it'll show you any like pending ongoing cases. It'll tell you like if it's been closed or if it's still open, and it includes things like divorce. So if you're looking to see if someone's been divorced in the state of Maryland, Maryland Case Search is the way to go, and I'm sure that they have that for other states as well. I want to say, like, I am a young girl. I'm still learning. This was my first experience like this in dating. I can tell you I have for real learned my lesson this time. So thank you for the people who are being supportive, and I'll be re-uploading part 2 when I can. Thanks, guys. So I pick up the phone, and of course the first thing I say is, I'm so sorry I'm sleeping with your husband. If you're new here, click on my profile, check out part 1. I'm telling the story of how I found out I was dating a married man. So at this point, I've called the wife after she commented on my Facebook post saying, hey, I'm the wife, call me. And she's like, no sweat off my back. I'm like, what? And she proceeds to tell me the craziest story I've ever heard in my entire life. Here's the thing though. This is her story of her experience with that man. And I recognize that's not necessarily my story to tell, so I'm going to be very conscientious of the details I choose to include, and I would ask that you please respect that. She goes on to tell me that he's cheated on her hundreds of times with at least 20 different women. They still live in the same house, which is, my intuition was right, but in separate bedrooms, and they're not together, they're technically separated. I asked why they weren't divorced yet, and she said he doesn't want to get divorced. Guess what? She knew about me. She said he told her that he was going on a date with me, and he even recapped it after. Not only that, but he was literally talking shit about me. He told her I was crazy and I talk too much. Arguably true, but screw you. But she also told me in that week that we had gone on our first 2 dates, he had also slept with 3 other women. For the last 8 years, he's been sleeping with one woman in particular, which is actually what his job in Arlington was. And they first started sleeping together when she was 19 years old, and he would sneak into her parents' house to hook up with her. He's incredibly abusive, controlling, manipulative. In all seriousness, I cannot recommend strongly enough to stay away from this man because he is very convincing, and even I was swindled. And let me tell you, In this moment, I felt so naive. I was really hard on myself. I felt really guilty and really dumb. How could I let myself be in that position? And honestly, really scared. Like, I was in a room with this man in private, and now hearing that he has done all of these things, like, I put myself in a really dangerous situation, and I don't want anyone else to put themselves in a situation like that, because in retrospect, that's really, really scary. And I could have gotten really hurt. And I think the other thing about this that I've taken away is that I'm feeling really jaded, because how can I ever go on a date again? I talked to this man for a month. We went on 3 dates. I really felt like I had started to know his character and his intentions. And how can I ever trust someone again after this experience? I've paused all my dating apps. Like, I will not be dating for the foreseeable future. I sent him a long series of explicit voice memos. I tried to post them previously. TikTok took it down, understandably, for bullying and harassment. Yeah, and I blocked him on everything. I told him then and there that I was about to post his name all over the internet. Here it is if you need it. Because really my intention with this is to protect other women. As funny as my last story time is, which it is, it's funny, it's a crazy ride, it's also a story about trusting your gut and trusting your intuition. Women's intuition is never wrong, and we will always find out. That's one thing about us women. I reported him to Hinge, and as far as I know, they've shut down his account. Not to say that he couldn't make other profiles or profiles on other apps. And here's my advice to women. Number 1, it's not your fault. You did what you could with the information that you had. Number 2, trust your gut. If something feels off, it is. Number 3, get out at the first red flag. Do not give anyone the benefit of the doubt ever. Remember, you are smart, you have agency, and you can get out of situations like this. Thank you guys for listening, and stay safe out there.
If someone's trying to intimidate you, all it means is you've already intimidated them. Someone who's on your level is going to easily resonate with you. The only reason someone would be triggered by you is because they feel inferior.
Okay guys, I'm going to be doing a story time. Oh, this is so embarrassing. A story time on how I found out I was getting cheated on my birthday. Honestly, I'm more embarrassed than sad about it, because like, bro, like, it's fine though. It's fine. Okay, over it. I just think about it. I'm like, damn, I literally got cheated on, and I found out on my birthday. That's literally like what a core memory to remember every year on my birthday. I see there are so many signs that like he just wasn't faithful, but I literally just turned a blind eye on everything, bro. One sign was when he asked me out, he posted me. Well, he didn't post me, he posted my hand, but that's another sign. But a girl literally called him immediately. I'm assuming it was someone that he was talking to like before me, or not before me, probably while talking to me, but this girl was literally blowing up his phone when I was with him, and he did not want to answer. Forgot to mention, she also followed me like as soon as he posted me too, and which is kind of weird. I don't know. And he was like really mad about it. He was like, "Oh, what the? Why is she following you?" Blah blah. Which was already weird as it is. I feel like his reaction was more weird than the fact that she followed me too, but that's besides the point. Well, I'm pretty sure he like texted her or something like, "Oh, like blah blah blah," or he like blocked her or something. Because I told him, I was like, "Oh, like call her back." He did, but she didn't answer. I still don't know why. So if she's watching this, why didn't she answer? So yeah, whatever. My birthday came around. It's on a Saturday. He took me out to eat. Well, actually, no. Wait. I remember I had woke up mad that, like, the morning of my birthday, because he went out the night before. That's one thing. This man was always out, and I was always inside. Because, one, he would never invite me anywhere. 2, because when I am in a relationship, I'm a homebody. Because, like, why not? But yeah, this man was out at Woodrow's. And he just, like, was not, I don't know. I had a gut feeling the whole time he was out. Anytime he was out, I always had a gut feeling, so. But yeah, he was out. And it's funny because actually some guy called me after like we broke up, and he was like, yeah, like he was out like trying to get at my friends on Friday, the night he went out to Jerusalem. And my birthday was the next day. I got over that, and then we went to dinner or whatever. And then he went out with his friends literally right after he dropped me off. Bro, this is so embarrassing saying it out loud. He literally went out to the clubs right after he dropped me off from taking me out for my birthday, even though he had just went out the night before. Of course, he was like blaming everything on his friends and like, it's because they wanted to go out, blah, blah. Like, you don't know how to say no? If he wanted to say no, like. So, this man was out at clubs. I was like out. I mean, I wasn't out. I was just up the whole night. Still my birthday! Still my birthday! And this man was out and about. Whatever. Besides the point. I go to his following. His following went up. I was like, oh no, mama. No. I went and boom. One girl I've never seen before in my life popped up on his thing. She was a bottle girl. Very pretty and I'm assuming she was popular because she had a lot of following. So I told him, I was like, who did you follow? Oh, I called him actually. I was like, who did you follow? And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, blah, blah, this and that. Like, I was like, bro, like, I'm not in the mood to, like, be, like, whatever. And he was like, oh, I followed my homeboy. I was like, so you weren't even following your homeboy, the one that you're out with right now. It just didn't make sense. Obviously, I knew he was lying, but he just did not want to tell me the truth. So, I've literally never ever done this before. But I texted her. I was like, hey, how long has this guy been following you? And I sent her a picture of, like, the guy I was with, profile. She was like, oh, he just followed me, like, a couple minutes ago. Yeah. Duh, obviously. But it's whatever. And yeah, whatever. I think by the time I called him or she answered, he was already out, like, of the club or whatever. I called him. I was like, I'm going to ask you one more time. Who did you follow? He still kept saying my homeboy. I was like, oh, that's funny because she told me that you just followed her like 30 minutes ago. He was like, I was like, I'm going to ask you a second time. He was like, okay, fine. Yes, I followed her. I was like, okay, we're done. So yeah, I broke up with him the night of my birthday. Cause like, and I was just like, bro, like no way I had to ask this man like 300 times who the hell did he follow for him to tell me the truth. Like, this man couldn't even hide it like whatsoever. Like, he should have known that I was gonna look through his shit. Like, oh, sorry, I told myself I wasn't gonna cuss. But yeah, it was just stupid. I broke up with him, whatever. Next day, so his birthday was August 2nd on a Saturday, so Sunday, I met up with him to pick up my stuff, because I had, like, stuff in his truck. Like, girly stuff, like lipstick, lip liner, all that stuff. Funny story about that, actually. I remember one time we had went out. I don't know if he went out or we were just at the gym, whatever, but we were in his truck, and all my stuff was put up, which he literally would, like, at least, not that he would not ever do that, but at least that I know. But yeah, and I remember I was like, why is my stuff put up? And I think that day, like, he had went out the night before, and I was like, why is my stuff up? Of course, he blamed it on his homeboy. He was like, oh, like, I just don't want my homeboy seeing that, blah, blah. I was like, mind you, this was a homeboy that also was a cheater, and he was weird. That was another sign. This man did not want to let go of his homeboys, which they were cheaters. Same thing with his cousin, but whatever. I was like, oh, I just didn't want him seeing that, like, blah, blah. I was like, if it's a homeboy, why does it matter? Especially if he knew about me. Like, but I'm assuming he had just, like, went out with the girl the night before. Because, oh, wait, hold up. That's not I'm gonna have to do a part 2, bro. But yeah, I had gotten mad about that because I was like, why would your homeboy care about my stuff being there? It's like, I just don't want him saying anything, blah, blah. I was like, what? Like that, it just, yeah, no. It was, Oh, mamas, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because I'm not even, like, done yet.
Get ready with me while I tell you about how I just found out that I got cheated on my entire relationship. I added my ex's friend on Snapchat because I was trying to figure something out. I'm not going to get into that story, but I was like, yeah, before he went to jail, I caught him cheating. And I'm just going to make up a name because I don't want to, like, throw anyone under the bus. Anyways, and he was like, oh, yeah, he cheated on you with Ari. You figured that out? How'd you figure that out? It actually wasn't Ari. It was 3 other girls. Didn't know about that one, guys. Anyways, so I decided to call one of his, like, girlfriends, like, girl best friends. I don't really know. And she was like, wait, why do you care? Like, you're not with him. And I said, we've been dating for so long. Guys, I'm sorry, this is confusing. Basically, everyone knew that she was with him, but nobody knew that he was with me. Does that make sense? And he had a girlfriend our whole relationship. I'm in fucking shock. Like, we're not, like, he just recently broke up with me because he can't be in a relationship in jail. Whatever. I don't fucking whatever. But that's besides the point. But bro had a girlfriend the whole time. And from what everyone's saying, I was the side bitch because everyone knew except, like, our friend group, like, including my sister, her boyfriend, me, my boyfriend, my guy best friend Adrian, and, like, that, you know? Guys, it was, like, really bad last night. Like, I came home, I opened the door, and I was screaming and crying, and I was like, Mom, call Aunt Mandy, like, call my aunt, because, like, my aunt is, like, one of my comfort people. Like, I love my mom and my aunt. And so my mom called her, and I was just screaming, what the fuck? I was just screaming, like, I should have never fucking got back with him. Like, it was bad, and then I was, like, crying for hours, and now I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? And he doesn't know that I know yet, but the next time he calls me, I'm gonna say, excuse me, listen to me. I'm gonna say everything that I know, and I would be like, fuck you, never fucking talk to me again, and I'm pressing that hang up button, and I'm never speaking to him again. Oh, and I'm gonna let him sit in there and think about that shit. I'm gonna let him sit in jail and do nothing but think and think and think about it. I'm not answering him. I don't care. I think he still has, like, 5 more months. I don't care. I'm not calling him on Christmas. I'm not calling him on New Year's. He can sit in there and think about that. Matter of fact, he can call her. I wonder if he has been calling her in there because he would always, like, talk to me for, like, a couple of minutes, and then he would, like, hang up, and he would say that he's on the phone all day, but with who? And he always said that he was on the phone with his sister all day, but, like, I don't think that's true. Anyways, guys, again, I apologize for not being active. Hopefully y'all didn't think I was dead, but no, bitches, I'm back. I'm back better than ever, and matter of fact, I don't even know, guys. I'm in shock, like, what is my life? Like, guys, I Ubered him. I, like, went on a trip, and I was like, oh my God, I really wish he was here. I Ubered him for, like, $170 just so that I could be with him the whole time he had another girlfriend. I'm sorry if this story time is, like, kind of confusing, guys. Like, it's hard to explain. Unless if you know everyone, it's hard to explain, and I don't feel like doing, like, that fake name because I'm going to get, like, mixed up. But just know my whole entire relationship, there was another girlfriend, and apparently I was a side bitch. That's a first. That's definitely a first. Whatever. And the funniest thing is that his friends have been trying to, like, not get with me, but, like, you know, and I still respect him, you know, like, but now I don't. Fuck that. My sister's boyfriend texted the guy who cheated on me, his cousin, and was like, does he have a girlfriend? And he goes, I don't know. Bitch, you know. Also, guys, keep in mind, this guy called me 2 years straight. Every day, begging to get back with me. He would call me every day, multiple times. He would beg my sister, please just talk to Megan. Please, please, please get her to get back with me. I'll do anything. Like, bro made Snapchat accounts, TikTok accounts. He showed up to my house multiple different times with flowers. He went so far to get me back. He finally did after 2 years. 2 years. And he pulls that. Also, ruined every single relationship I got into. Fought 2 of them. He just went the extra mile to ruin anything he could. Just to get me back. And then he does that. The story of my life, I'll take her home. Anyways, guys, I'm going to try to be active again. I'm very sorry that, like, I haven't been active. But me and my best friend have low-key been out in the streets again. Because we're, like, unbanned from seeing each other. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my tea. I hope everyone has a great day. I love you guys. Bye.
Hello? What happened? He broke up with you? No, I'm so sorry. No, it's gonna be okay. No, it's gonna be it's okay. Lift that crown, girl.
She's like, I have an STD and I don't know if you could have it too. Story time on how I found out I was being cheated on with a girl who knew about me. First off, I want to clarify that I'm not making this video to send anybody hate because I've moved on from this situation and I honestly wish everybody involved nothing the best, but the story is still completely crazy and ridiculous and I did not deserve what happened to me. So first of all, to give a little backstory so this all makes sense, everybody in the story involved all worked together. I grew up in a very sheltered Christian home and I was homeschooled. I didn't go to public school. So my job was really, outside of church, was like my only access to not real people, but like normal people, I guess. And I honestly, like, I didn't know that all this stuff was like real stuff that could happen, I guess. We're going to call my ex boy and the girl he cheated on me with just a girl. To start off this story, all started in the fall of 2022. I was freshly 17. I had been working at this job for about a year at this point. I started talking to one of my male coworkers, not officially dating, but just talking, texting every day, seeing each other outside of work. I would go to some of his soccer games. And as soon as I had started talking to him, I remember I started noticing that this female coworker started to dislike me. Like her attitude completely changed towards me, which was weird because we never really even talked at work or anything like that. She didn't really know me and I didn't really know her. But yes, boy and girl had like a friends with benefits kind of thing going on over the summer, but then it ended towards the end of the summer because she was going back to where she's from in Colombia for however long, and she had a boyfriend back in Colombia or whatever, so whatever they had going on ended because she was going back to see her boyfriend. She had already been back for a while when I started talking to boy, but whatever they had going on was obviously ended, so I didn't understand why she disliked me so much, but I just chose to ignore it. So once I noticed that girl's behavior started to change towards me, I talked to boy about it and I was like, hey, like, I don't understand why girl's attitude is changing towards me, but something's going on between you guys again. If you guys still have feelings for each other or whatever, just be honest with me. Don't waste my time, basically, is what I said. He kept reassuring me, saying that nothing was going on. What they had was not a real relationship and that he wanted something real and he didn't want something solely sexual like it was with her. So I thought, okay, cool, like, reassuring me, like, everything will be fine. She just continued to say bad things to people at our workplace, saying things like everything that me and boy were doing, she had already done with him first. Everything that we were doing, she was already there doing it. After all the things she said, I continued to ignore it because at the end of the day, I was the one in the relationship, not her. This is when all of the suspicious activity that I should not have ignored began to play out. It was maybe a month of us still talking. Me and boy are hanging out. It's pretty late at night. We are watching videos together on his phone, and girl starts calling his phone, and I was like, confused as to why she was calling his phone this late at night, so he declined it. Immediately after he hangs up, girl's best friend starts calling him, who's also his mutual friend. It was just weird that they were both calling him right around the same time. Obviously I was like, why are they calling you this late? Like, that's weird. He was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, that makes me uncomfortable. And I made it pretty clear. I was like, can you set a boundary with them? That's just weird that they're calling you this late at night. So he said, yeah, like, I'll make a boundary. And then all of a sudden he just blocked both of them right in front of me. This was my first real relationship, so obviously now I know that that's a red flag, but at the time I thought, oh, like, he's just reassuring me, like, this is great, right? Literally the next day at work, one of my different coworkers comes up to me and she's like, hey, just so you know, like, I heard girl is really upset and that she's going to text you. And I was like, about what? And she was like, I don't know, but she's mad. And I was like, okay, like, she can text me if she wants, like, I guess. Literally that night I get a text from girl. She's just going off saying that I was ruining her friendship with boy and that I made him block her. So I was like, oh no, like, I don't know why you dislike me so much, but I definitely did not make him block you. He did that on his own. He was calling me toxic, manipulative, controlling, and just a bunch of other nasty things. I don't really remember what I said, but it was just left at that. And then she started doing this thing, which I will come to notice that it becomes a pattern of hers, where she will delete her messages from the chat or whatever, only hers, to make it seem like I'm the only one saying something, which is weird because, like, I would screenshot everything, so I have the screenshots anyways. A couple days after her texting me, boy ends up asking me to be his girlfriend, and at the time I didn't think anything was going on, so obviously I said yes. By now we officially my boyfriend. Maybe a week after we are official, I get a text from one of our shift managers saying, hey, just so you know, I heard that girl and boy are going to be meeting up tonight after work in the mall parking lot. what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Obviously, on the time that they're supposed to be getting off of work, I pull up, I park like further away to where they wouldn't be able to see my car, to see her. She drives off, and then my boyfriend starts walking home because his house was right next to where we worked. Went to the mall parking lot, which is right next to our work. Drive around, and I don't see no cars or anything like that. So I thought maybe I was like being pranked or something. So then I texted my boyfriend and I asked him to hang out that night, and he said yes. So obviously, since we were together, like he wasn't with her, so I didn't think anything was going on. So then, I'm not sure how long after that happened, but me and boy are hanging out one night. He accidentally leaves his phone in my car. When I got home, I saw that his phone was still in my car, so obviously I took it inside with me. I put it on the charger, and then I just went to sleep. Then the next morning, I wake up around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning to girl calling his phone again. I was so confused. It was super early in the morning. I didn't really know what was going on, so I didn't answer it. Looking back on it, obviously now, like, I should have answered it, but I didn't. I was just so confused and lost, and I didn't really want to talk to her because I knew that she didn't like me for whatever reason, so I just didn't answer it, and I didn't really want to answer it. I got my boyfriend to give him his phone back. I confronted him about it, and he was just saying like, oh, she was just calling me because she worked last night and she lost her bracelet and was just asking me if I had seen it anywhere around work. And I was just like, okay, like, she didn't need to call you for that, but obviously come to find out that's not the reason why she was calling. I didn't find out until later when I find everything out. She was actually calling him because him, her, and their mutual friend, who also knew that I was the girlfriend, were all supposed to hang out, and they did hang out that day behind my back, obviously. It's weird because they all knew that I was his girlfriend, but they were all okay with that, I guess. Obviously at the time I felt like there was nothing really I could do or say about it because it made it seem like everything was so innocent and that she was just asking about a bracelet. So however long after that happened, I'm not sure how long, I had a girl on Snapchat. We didn't talk or anything. She had just added me on Snapchat for whatever reason. I woke up 7 or 8 and I went onto Snapchat, went into the snap map. I saw her location. It said 3 or 4 hours ago and it was at my boyfriend's house. And then I ended up confronting her myself and I was like, why is your location saying that you're at my boyfriend's house at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? She just kept saying it was my ex's uncle also worked at our workplace, so they both said that she had just got done working with his uncle and was dropping him off at their house. And I thought it was weird, but I didn't think of too much into it at the time because it's known at work that people would give his uncle rides to and from work. And then within a couple of days of that incident happening, my boyfriend ends up quitting our workplace. A week after that, after he quits, I go onto Snap Maps again and I see girl's location at my boyfriend's house again. And so this time I didn't text them. I wanted to know what was going on. So me and my friend pulled up in her car to my boyfriend's house and we circled around and we saw girl's car there. And so obviously I was upset, but I wanted to confirm it, so I was like, okay, like, let's just go around and see again. We do a loop and come up to the car again and we literally see my boyfriend and girl in the front seats. They're not doing anything, but we just see them like together. At that point, like, I was super upset and I was like, okay, let's just go. Like, I don't want to be here right now. Like, let's just go. So as we pull away, girl literally pulls out so quick from the parking spot and starts following us. Like, what? Like, we should have been following you. Then my friend was like, okay, like, whatever. She slams on her brake, pulls over, and my friend gets out of the car, girl gets out of her car, they start talking, and my friend's like, get out of the car, get out of the car. I was like, no, like, I can't. Like, I can't. Like, I was upset and I was sad. I was literally crying. I did not want to get out of the car. My friend was basically cussing her out for me. Girl acting like she had a reason to be mad. She was like, what are you guys doing here? What are you guys doing here? And my friend's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing at her boyfriend's house? And she starts defending herself, saying that she was dropping off the uncle again. And we're like, okay, well, like, why are you guys in the front seats together? Like, what? She was like, oh, I was just giving him his last check because he had just quit. Like, well, the manager, like, gave it to me to give to him because he knew that I was already going to be going by there. Obviously, I know that's a fucking lie. My boyfriend said the same thing, and I was confused. I didn't know what to believe because they were both saying the exact same thing. The manager at work was saying the same freaking thing, so I didn't know what to believe. Obviously, now I know I should have stuck to my gut feeling, but I didn't. After that happened, for about a month, nothing really occurred or happened, so I thought everything with my boyfriend was going very good. Early on New Year's Eve, about to be 2023, I have my boyfriend over at my house for the very first time. We are taking pictures, stuff like that. So after we take a selfie, he takes that picture and makes it his profile picture on Facebook, and literally, probably like 30 minutes after that, a girl messages me on Snapchat and is like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, girl, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And she was like, I'm not here. Tomorrow at work. Cool, don't play with me. Just tell me, bro. Like, just tell me. And she wouldn't tell me. Next day at work, I get there and immediately I go up to her and I'm like, hey, what do you want to talk about? Like, just tell me, like, what do you want to talk about? She's like, well, I have an STD and I don't know if you could have it too. Me? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?